letting society tell you about the best skincare routines, the hottest plastic surgeons, or the cream that will keep your skin from aging. It's time we start asking ourselves, what the fuck is beauty anyway? If we remove all the IG filters, is there more to a beautiful face than just skincare? Well, I'm here to share it with you, and hell yeah there is. My name is Jen Carrasco. I have been an esthetician, as well as a high-level fitness competitor, and an all-around badass for over a decade. And I need you to know there is way more to keeping your mind and body clean than just a cream. Join me each week as I cut the BS out of getting healthy, caring for ourselves, and caring for our skin. I share real tips, real ingredients, and real experience. Now let's get some answers on what the fuck is beauty anyway. Hey guys, it's Jen again, and we're sitting here with my bestie, Michelle.
Hello. So today I thought we would kind of do a podcast. You being an IFBB pro, you probably get asked all the time about nutrition and weight training. So what question do you get asked the most?
Majority of the questions that I get are how to lose weight while gaining muscle.
Tricky.
Which honestly, they're absolutely two journeys. So the reason why I say that they're two journeys, it's really hard to lose weight and gain muscle. It's almost like a catch-22. So I'm not saying that you can't do that. You can, but it's really, really difficult. So I'm going to pretty much go over the reasoning of losing weight. So when you want to lose weight, you're going into a deficit. So with a deficit, you are losing calories. And in order to gain muscle, you usually have to go into a surplus of calories to gain muscle.
Okay.
So when I get ready for a show, it's a process. So I do keep my calories higher in the beginning, and then I start weaning down. And the thing is that I can gain that muscle in the beginning of the process, but as I wean down to where I don't have that many calories coming in, there's no possible way that I can really hold on to that muscle. And a lot of times what I see happen is if people aren't dieting properly or right, you can actually lose muscle. So it's really a catch-22 when it comes to that. So let's pretty much go over the long process. So when you are gaining muscle, you have to eat at a surplus. So a calorie surplus, so say your average intake, like for me example, my calorie intake is 1,500. So if I want a surplus, say I want to gain a pound a week of muscle, I would have to add in 500 calories a day, which is 3,500 calories at the end of the week.
So are those calories coming from a particular source? Like protein, carbs, or fats in order to do that?
Exactly. Okay. So in order to gain muscle properly, you need adequate protein.
Okay.
And so you need sufficient protein. You really need a lot of training, resistance, hypertrophy training. And when you're at a surplus and you're trying to gain, it's not so much that you need to do cardio or HIIT so much. But I always say it's really good to add that in so you don't go over and beyond. And it's not something you have to do on a daily basis. You could do it like 3 times a week, okay, just to keep it going. So when I get ready for a show, I usually don't do 500 calories over my limit. For me, I feel like I gain weight way too fast with that. So I tend to keep my calories at about 1,800, and then I'll start going down. And what I mean is a process is that when I get ready for a show, it takes me 3 months.
Yeah. Good 12 weeks.
So I hear people, they want a quick fix, and it's not going to happen. Right. There's no possible way. So I usually start to dwindle my calories down when I'm getting ready for my show.
As it gets closer to
exactly
stepping on stage. Okay.
So really about 4 weeks out from my show, I mean, I'm really down to like 1,100 calories. Is that healthy? Absolutely not. But it's what I have to get down to 4% body fat.
Right. Well, and it's 1,100 calories in intense training. We're
yes.
talking heavy weights, low reps.
45
Right.
minutes of cardio usually every day
Right.
on top of it. So really it's probably only like 800 calories.
Probably, yeah. So what is this hypertrophy training? Actually, I've never even heard of that.
So that's like burning the muscle out to where it's like burning the shit out of your muscle.
Okay.
So mainly a lot of my weight training, what I do is because as I get older, it's really hard for me to go super, super heavy. So I'll go heavy, but a lot of times I will just burn the shit out of my muscle. And it's almost the same amount of putting the weight on there because you're tearing your muscle down.
Right.
So when you tear your muscle down, that's when your muscle rebuilds. That's why it's extremely important to not eat shit. It's really important to actually have a good carb source, a good protein source, a good fat source, because then your body's actually utilizing that to grow your muscle to make it bigger in the area that you're trying to grow it.
Right. And I think there's a lot of stigma around or a lot of misconceptions about women putting on muscle and us bulking up.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
you know, if we start doing that, I don't think that's
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand as a pro athlete, we're a different breed. So I shouldn't say there's no possible way. There is a way for you to grow muscle.
Right.
But as a female, it is extremely hard for you to grow muscle without help.
Right.
It's just how it is.
So there's help, but there's also some patience involved in
Exactly.
So it does take us a little bit longer to put it on and actually see those results in the gym.
Well, it took me 5 years to grow muscle.
Right.
I mean, it took me a whole off season of a year to even grow my butt. Like it was an intense booty workouts constantly.
All the time. Yeah.
So
and then feeding it properly too.
Exactly.
So, and recovering. So, and then you have the flip side of that whole thing, because I'm sure when you were, doing your bodybuilding, that was one different type of diet for you when you were doing versus when you first started out doing bikini.
Yes.
And that was really geared towards weight loss.
Yes.
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah. So what were you doing with that one?
So when you're dealing with like a calorie deficit, so what you need to consider is 3,500 calories is a pound. So in order to go into a deficit, you need to pull those calories out. So say you're at 1,500 and you're going to pull around 500 a day out, which I honestly want to tell you to be extremely careful with that, because a lot of times when you go into a really quick fat loss, you'll actually pull your muscle.
Right.
So you need to be really careful. My suggestion is to really keep at your calorie level. So I always say do like a bod pod or go do, the tank or, any of that. I like the DEXA scan. That's like my favorite. And it will give you your calorie intake for the day and where you're at, just to maintain what you have. So I think mine was like 15 or 1550. So my honest opinion is to keep your calorie level at that point and just add in cardio and weight training to that point.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is then you're going to go below your deficit, but you're going to still get those calories without compromising your muscle.
Right.
So a lot of people will say, okay, well, I'm just, not going to eat, and this isn't about fasting because I believe in fasting, but this is about just every day. Like I'm not going to eat and I'm going to get skinny. But the thing is that it does tap into your muscle. I mean, it does tap into your fat storage, but it definitely will get into your muscle storage and you'll lose that as well.
Yeah, because it makes sense. You want to fuel your workout. You don't want to reduce your calories on top of weight training and cardio because you're not going to have the fuel in order to do that. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you keep your calories the same, but working out, you'll be burning. So you'll have a deficit for the day. So yeah, that's good.
So my big thing that I really want to put out there for people is it is long term. It's not something that I'm going to lose 5 pounds in a month. Because the thing is that you're not going to be happy with the outcome that you have with that. So because you're not going to get that muscle tone defined look that you're looking for, you're going to be flat and it's just not going to be proportionate. So you really need to make it a lifestyle change. Keep your calories at a certain level and add in HIIT training or add in something different. Go to a spin class, do some cardio, go for a hike. So like for me, for instance, for dieting for 5 years, I fucking hate getting on the treadmill. Like I lived waking up, stepping on a treadmill for 45 freaking minutes every single morning, and I hate it. So what I do is I wake up in the morning and I take my dog for a 45-minute walk. And so I get that exercise, but it's something completely different. And then I keep my calories at 1550 a day. And then maybe like 4 days a week or whatever it is, I put in a really good workout in that day on top of the 45 minutes. So I stay lean through my off season. I really don't want to get bigger, so I'm not aiming for that. But let's go into somebody who wants to gain muscle.
Right.
So in order to gain muscle, like I said, of course, you have to go into a calorie surplus. So adding in whatever it is, 300 to 500 calories that you want to add into your diet. Now, when you're in a calorie surplus and you're eating, you can't just eat and think it's going to go into muscle. It will, but it's going to go into a lot of your fat storage as well. So when you're doing that, you need to make sure that you are hitting the gym and you are pushing freaking hard. Like, it's not that going heavy weights. It could even be just repping it out to where that muscle is burning, because then that food is going to be getting stimulated to the muscle growth that you want. Now, if you are trying to gain muscle and you're eating a surplus, you are going to put fat on. There's no way around it. So that's why I like moderate, because I can slowly add muscle with a little bit of fat. But sometimes in my off season, if like, for instance, when I was training really hard and I didn't have that much downtime in between a show and we needed to put on more muscle, he had me eating like, I think it was like 2,500 calories in a day. Like, it was a lot of food. I want to say I gained like 20 pounds.
I remember you've been having a hard time eating that much food.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you were like, I'm not even hungry.
Yeah. But I put on that much weight, but I put on that much fat. Like, I looked at myself and I was like, I did not feel feminine wearing a dress. I felt obese. And honestly, other people looking at me were probably like, well, you're not fat. But to me, I felt that way.
Right.
And the thing is that then I had to go back and diet it off. So then I had to go into a deficit. So with going into a deficit, what we mainly do is we do fluctuation with our calories. So I will do like a week of really high protein, low carbs, like extremely low fat. And then the next week, he'll like up my carbs and keep my protein. And then so we do vice versa, going back and forth to kind of shock my body to where I start losing this weight, plus doing 45 minutes of cardio. So then it took me 3 months to lose that weight, but I held on. I think I gained like 10 pounds of muscle. So the one thing I really want to push out there for people is you really have to keep your protein levels high.
Okay.
You really have
on both journeys?
On both journeys.
Losing weight
especially, well, I would say more so losing weight, you need to keep your protein high.
Okay.
Gaining muscle, I would say it's pretty equal to your protein, your carbs.
Okay.
And we can get into the other diets of keto and everything else eventually one day on the podcast. I'm not going to get on that today.
Well, I mean, there's over 100 different dietary theories out there, so it could get ridiculous at some point. So
keto has a purpose, but I don't think it's a lifelong purpose.
Right. Not a lifestyle.
It's not a lifestyle. So, and then the same with fasting. Like right now, during my off season, I do fast. I fast probably about 2 to 3 times a week. I don't do a full day fast. I do a fast to where, and I do a fast on the days that I'm not working out. And the days that I'm not working out, I still do my cardio, but I keep my protein extremely high on those days. And I fast until about 2 in the afternoon. And then I eat my surplus until about 10 o'clock at night.
So what would you say to somebody who asks you, what's your recommendation on stepping on the scale? Should that be something you should do all the time, once a month, or?
So I say throw your scale away.
Oh, okay.
Not logically,
well,
but
my scale's a liar, so
yeah.
I don't know about yours, but.
So I step on the scale every morning.
Okay.
The reason why I do that is just because I like to see what I eat and what it does to my body. Okay. Not so much about, it's like a mind fuck. So if you look at the scale, like I could go to sushi and then the next day weigh myself and I weigh literally 5 to 10 pounds heavier than what I did the day after or the day before. And it's from sodium and it's water retention. And then the next day I can weigh myself and I've lost 10 pounds. So the thing is that I think it's great if you're trying to see what your body does to certain things and how you react to it. But I really truly feel it's your clothes and how they fit, because I know like right now I'm doing the 75 hard and that I notice that my weight is still 144, but I'm loose in certain areas of my pants. So measuring is huge. I would say measuring, taking pictures, picture progress. All of my clients and my patients that I have for training or diet relation, I make them take a picture every Friday for me, before I update what's going on with them. I think that's the best thing. So measurements, diet, I do have them weigh just so I can see what's going on. But a lot of times the scale isn't what I want.
Right. Well, and so it sounds like there's definitely a couple different ways you really should be looking at your progress and not just the number on the scale. That, again, like you said, how your clothes are fitting, actually even how you're feeling, just physically, energy level, how that's going, like in the progress pics and so on and so forth. So that's some good advice, not to just get so fixated on the number on the scale and kind of know that there's different ways of monitoring your progress too. So.
And I truly too feel that when you're making a lifestyle change and you're doing these things to eat better and be healthy and to lose weight, I think it all needs to be in moderation.
Right.
So I know, like, I did a podcast on food swaps, which was really great. So that way you guys have different alternatives on what to do when you're having those cravings. But I do feel that you need to give yourself a fun, not a day, but a fun meal. So, I mean, make it a day that you are doing your really intense cardio and a really good weight training. And if you feel like you want that burger, then go have that burger, but don't have the French fries with it. It's a lifestyle change. And the thing is that when you clean your palate and you go back to eat those things don't taste good anymore.
Right.
And
well, I think it goes back to, like, a lot of people use the word cheat meal, and I think cheat just has a negative
I agree
to it. So
yeah.
I like to call it my balance meal.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's my balance meal.
Yeah.
So. Absolutely. So, well, and that's all good information. Again, like you said, the lifestyle changes, it has a lot to do with just being patient, and then trusting the process that you're, kind of going through it. So
absolutely.
I know you're always here to help people. I mean, you've been really good about answering questions that people have been, DMing you or just reaching out in general, that you're always really receptive to getting back to them and kind of sharing your knowledge in and around nutrition. So,
yeah. So on my Virago muscle site, which they're all linked together on the one page, but I do have programs in there. We are going to be adding in a couple more programs coming into the future. I've had a lot on my plate, so it's hard to get all the website stuff up and running. But I'm going to be doing like a muscle build program. I'm going to also be doing a maintenance program and a lean and shred program. So that way, going forward, we're going to have a lot more options, but I do programs all the time. So I know people are like, well, that's really expensive when they look at stuff, but I do programs a lot where I run like a challenge, especially with First Form. Like, we'll do the transformation challenge and you can step on board with that, which is like free. But I do like 8-week challenges, and I have one coming up, and it's probably a good group of girls, like 10 people so far. Actually, 2 guys too on top of that. And, I give them advice, and I do everything for a really reasonable rate. I mean, I think I'm only charging them like $20 a month, if that, which is unreal.
Right. You have a lot of knowledge, so.
But it's just to get people on the right mindset. So it's not like I'm getting them ready for like a show.
Right.
It's just eating healthier, and it's different alternatives and keeping in their macros and what certain foods do to you. And it's just education. That's all it boils down to.
Right. So you're hoping to run that next month, or these programs that you're thinking?
Yeah, they should be up and running. I would say, what are we? We're into almost October. They should be up and running on our website by November, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're also going to be doing some calls. So I'm going to have little links to where if you want like a 30-minute call with me.
Okay, like a consult?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can just talk about diet, nutrition, business. I mean, it can even be skincare related, but we're going to do like a 30-minute call, and then we're going to do a 60-minute call in there as well.
Oh, good.
So we should have those links up there as well. And even if you wanted to join like the Virago muscle team, I mean, a lot of times you get a lot of free knowledge with that and a lot of education behind it. But
well, and I think people going on Virago Muscle Facebook page and group on there, people ask the questions. A lot of times we're all in the same boat. A lot of times we're wondering the same thing when someone asks a question. So it's good to go on there and just check it out, because a lot of times when people are on these journeys, you're not alone.
No.
So everyone's kind of dealing with the same thing.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I have a couple RTA members that are doing the 75 hard, and at one of our syndicates syndicate meetings that we just had, he was saying, I think he was on like day 50 something. And he was like, it is a struggle. Like, I'm really struggling. This is really hard. And what it is it's that mindset. Like, you have to have that mindset, and you have to have that goal and that picture and what you want and what you want to achieve. That's why I say taking weekly pictures is huge, because when you're on like day 50, you look back and you think, oh fuck, I've already gotten this far. Like, look at me already. Even though the weight hasn't fluctuated, you can see it.
Right.
So I guess where I'll leave the podcast going out on is that it is about consistency, and it's about being patient. Patient in the process. That's it. For me to lose all the weight to get ready for a show takes me 3 months. And that is literally 3 months of hardcore dieting.
Right. You're not having any balanced meals in there. That's
no.
24/7.
I get no cheat meals.
No.
I get no fun little Starbucks every now and then. I mean, it is straight like chicken, rice, broccoli, steak, eggs, like no fun.
Blueberries.
Like no fun. And blueberries are gone. Like, I get no fruit. Like, it's gone. So the thing is that it's a mind game. That's all it is. And it's, if you can overpower it, that's where you're going to succeed. And if you can overpower that, I mean, you can overpower anything in your life if you could do that. So, and honestly, I have an issue, and I know you have an issue with this as well, is I can't keep fucking almond butter in my house. I know there's things I cannot keep in my home.
Right.
If I'm trying to get to a point, it cannot be in my home. And so like Kevin, for instance, loves almond butter and he'll have it out. And I told him the other night, like, I will wake up in the middle of the night and catch myself with a spoonful of fucking almond butter in my mouth, digging in there. And it's like, I told him, I'm like, you have to hide this. Like, you need to take it, leave it in your car. You have to do whatever you can. So I'm saying that we all have that struggle. We all do. So just know you're not alone.
Yes.
And like
We're
I
all
say,
we're all humans.
that's why I like Virago Muscle, because we can call our sisters or brothers and we can say, hey, we're really struggling right now. I really want a French fry. I really want a milkshake. I really want, and then we have somebody that calls us out on our shit.
Right. Something else is going on.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And a lot of times we're eating that stuff because there's actually something mentally going on with us. So yeah.
Well, good.
But I guess we'll end it
Okay.
with saying patience is the process.
Right.
And a good diet.
Yes.
And nutrition.
Consistency. And there's more than one way for measuring your progress, not just the scale.
No.
So, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that covered it.
Yeah.
All right.
Did a good job.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, you guys. Bye. Thanks for tuning in this week. I hope you feel more empowered and more inspired to love the skin you're in. As we navigate new society norms and beauty daily, make sure to always ask yourself, what the fuck is beauty to me? And know that's all that matters. If you love this content today, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. Follow me and get more info on my guests at ViragoStudio.com. Yes, I said it, ViragoStudio.com. And that's the shit. See you on the next episode, beauties.